Hi, my name is Austin Zoot, and welcome to the Zoot Perspective Web Congregation. In this week's Torah portion, we catch up with Jacob. Now, Jacob has just stolen his birthright by tricking his father into giving it to him rather than to his older brother Esau. And he's fleeing to his uncle's house. Now, when he gets to his uncle's house with a little ladder dream along the way, he gets to his uncle's house and he negotiates that in exchange for 7 years of service, he will be able to marry Laban's daughter. Now, he works for the 7 years. He wants to marry the daughter Rachel, the younger daughter, and along the way, he works the 7 years, the day comes for the wedding, and oops, he marries the wrong sister. So he promises to work another 7 years in exchange for the daughter he actually wanted to marry in the first place. And after some time, after finishing the work that he has to do to finish filling out all the requirements for the marriages he's now incurred, he decides to tell Laban, it's time for me to go, I'm going to leave. But along the way, he has to decide what of the land that he has helped Laban grow is he entitled to? What of the flock that he has helped to cultivate can he have? So Laban says that he's allowed to have all of the speckled and blemished sheep and goats. Well, Jacob agrees to this and then finds some sneaky ways to do some biblical zoology, for lack of a better term, to make the spotted animals procreate a little better and a little faster than the regular animals, thus building his own flock and making sure that his stays better than Laban's. Well then, after all of this happens, Jacob, at just the right time, picks up his family and flees, escaping from Laban, running away. Laban comes chasing after them, demanding to know why did they leave in such a hurry and why are his idols missing. The secret is, on their way out, Rachel stole Laban's idols and hid them as they left. At the end of the Torah portion, Laban and Jacob finally decide it's time to make a pact. This is our agreement. We'll have peace between us. Everything will be okay. They sit down, they have a meal, and they go their separate ways. There's a lot in this Torah portion. It all comes down to sneakiness and deceit. There's all of this deceit, there's all of this deception between Jacob and his relatives. He starts by fleeing the deception of his brother, only to arrive at the deception of his wives and his uncle, and the deception of his uncle with his flock, and the stealing and the leaving in the middle of the night. There's so much deception, there's so much dishonesty. And yet at the end of the Torah portion, we finish with a pact. We finish with a covenant, a binding together, a promise for this in exchange for that, and a promise for peace. It's incredibly difficult to create a pact, to create a contract where trust doesn't exist. We naturally believe that trust is the basis for all of our agreements, for all of our pacts. So how can you create a pact without this foundation of trust? And when we look around our world today, there are so many places where we don't feel trust. We don't trust the media. We don't trust our politicians. We don't trust the world around us because we're afraid of agreeing to things that won't come true. We're afraid in believing in promises that we won't be able to see kept. And yet, at a certain point, if we're going to make pacts, if we're going to see peace, if we're going to see these agreements, there has to come a point where all sides are willing to say, enough, the deceit stops here, honesty starts here, and we need to have faith in one another to make these things come to fruition. It's a time where all parties have to agree. Things haven't been going right, and it's time they start going right now. So as we look at this week's Torah portion, we learn that our patriarchs and our matriarchs are not built on a foundation of perfection, but rather are able to overcome their imperfections to create these moments of peace and calm between them, to create these pacts going forward that allow everybody to get what they need out of the world and everybody to do what they need to do to make the world how they need it to be. That's what I'm getting out of this week's Torah portion. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what you believe about the notion of building foundations of trust in order to create these pacts and create these moments of peace. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shabbat Shalom.